Tracy King. Hello, Tracy.
Hello, Frizz. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very. It's deceptively warm. It's very windy. So when I was in my bedroom earlier, I was like, "Oh, that's quite a breeze." So I put on this jumper and I went for a walk, and I was sweating everywhere. Deceptively warm it is.
Well, I'm glad to hear about your sweat.
Yes, that's what the show's all about. I think if anything, we need more examples of sweaty people. When was the last time you were very sweaty, Tracy?
Oh, I'm always sweaty. I'm on the cusp of middle age. I'm on the underside of perimenopause. Which listen, you started this whole sweat thing. If we're doing TMI, we're going the full way. Menopause doesn't get enough airtime on comedy shows.
It doesn't, but we don't want to get too woke now, do we? Jesus Christ! Right. Our second guest, another returner, it is Talal Karkouti. Hello, Talal.
Hello, Frizz. How are you?
Still the same as when Tracy asked me. How are you?
Okay. Good, man. Thanks for having me back on. Happy to be here.
You're very welcome. You're a very good guest. So I thought, why not bring him back? Speaking of very good guests, here's the third very good guest today. It's Kate McCabe. Hello, Kate.
Hello. Also representing sweaty perimenopausal woman.
Yeah, that's exclusively the only people I'm going to guest for series 2. Those are the only people. We've got all the guests here. We've got some good games. Let's play What's in the Box, round 1.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Round 1 is always the same. I've got something in my black box, but you don't know what it is. You're going to have to guess. You'll most likely be wrong, but you then have to convince me why your guess was the closest. We're going to start with Tracy King. Tracy, what do you think is in the box?
I think you've got some of those cool 12-sided dice that you use in like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff.
Weirdly, we've had that guess before from someone else, so maybe it's more popular than I thought. Yes.
Who is this nerd?
Can
I change my guess then? Because I don't want to be unoriginal.
No, like there's literally, I mean, if you want to, Kate and Talal, you can also guess a 12-sided dice. This game has no rules.
I'm changing my guess to 10-sided dice.
10-sided dice.
It made all the difference.
Beautiful.
That's 10 dice, each of which have sides. Could be any number of dice.
One side each.
Yeah. One-sided dice. Yes.
Yes, we're playing one-dimensional Dungeons and Dragons today. Kate McCabe, what do you think is in the box?
I'm gonna say that is a novelty door stop thing.
A novelty door stop. My grandma had one of those door stops. You know, the metallic ones that you can like bend back and it makes a boing sound. Mm-hmm. It's only old people who have them. I don't know why.
It's
excellent.
To do, isn't it, when you're old?
Sorry to ruin your dream.
Oh, no. My theory still stands, Talal. Talal, what do you think is in the box?
I will say it's probably a wooden Japanese sandal.
Wooden Japanese sandal? That is very obscure.
Quite heavy.
Can I get a drum roll, please? The item in the box, it is actually a card reader. Oh, remember them? That means legally more than 6 people are allowed around my house because I can charge them. That's how the government have worked that out. Yeah, you charge that up, you put in the payment and the little card thing, and then it goes into my PayPal account. It's a fun little device to have during the Fringe or any events that have all been cancelled this year. Tracy, you thought it was a 10-sided dice. Why are you the closest?
I mean, to be fair, right, that's a numerical keypad, right?
Yes.
And what is a dice if not a sort of, folded up numerical keypad, in rolly form? So I think just on numbers alone, right? What have you got? You've got 10 numbers because you've got 1 to 9 plus a 0. I did say 10-sided dice.
Did.
I don't know. I think I don't need to justify any more. I think that is enough to win.
Fantastic debating. Kate McCabe, you thought it was a novelty doorstop. Why are you the closest?
There are 2 reasons why my guess is accurate. The first is anything can be a doorstop if you wedge it under the door hard enough. The second reason is a cover charge is a physical doorstop, in that if you want to come into the club or event, you can charge something to actually stop people at the door. And so there you go. Double whammy.
It's good.
Lovely. That is very, very good. Talal, you're going to have to pull something huge out of the box here. But why was your Japanese wooden sandal guess the closest?
Well, it's simple, really. Well, at the end of your show, or one of your shows, you would use that device to get money out of your audience. But I can only imagine in like feudal Japan, if you were, let's say, a pimp, and
There's that
you
famous
had-
stereotype, the feudal Japanese pimps.
and
It's
you had
simple,
like
really.
a customer who's like refusing to pay, what would you use to get the money out of them? You would probably strike them to the ground and stamp on them with your wooden Japanese sandal and get your money out of them. So they're
that
slightly
is how-
different objects, but used for the same purpose.
Simple.
That is how I get money out of my free fringe audiences if they walk out without putting anything in the bucket. I've got points to give out and absolutely strong opening there with your numbers, and there were 10 numbers, but the points are gonna have to go to Kate McCabe because, like I say, physical doorstop club entry, very, very good, but it was very, very close. So that's the end of round 1. It's time for round 2.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Right, you are going to produce an item out of your boxes and gift it to another one of our guests. And they are going to tell us the backstory of why this item means so much to them in a game I call Sentimental Value. So it's basically a game of bullshitting, and whoever has the most convincing story wins 5 points. Kate, you're going to go first, which means your item is going to be given to you by Tracy. Tracy,
Okay.
what are you gifting to Kate?
This miniature Zoltar machine from the seminal classic movie Big. Let me see if it's switched on. Is it switched on? All right. Now, we've all seen the movie Big, in which Tom Hanks, as a boy, has sex with a grown woman. And he achieves this goal by wishing on a Zoltar machine. Many years ago.
That wasn't his motivation.
Ah, that's on the back of the DVD case.
That is so
He
clearly
just
his
wants to be tall enough to
motivation.
ride a roller coaster. That is
No.
literally his motivation.
Right. Anyway, this is not actual size, because when it says big, he wasn't like like little. He was a normal size boy. This is a miniature version. I won't make it make noise, but it does make noise. He said.
That's amazing.
Yes, that's. Oh, I made noise.
Oh, it's bringing back so many memories, Tracy, because
That's right. You must live your days as if they were your last. Because one day they will be.
Is it going to recite the whole movie?
this, can I just say, this miniature Zoltar machine that you have put in front of my face, that this is the exact same instrument that I used to make a very important life decision many moons ago. I had this machine that you possess now, and I asked it, Zoltar machine, should I join the Navy? And it told me that yes, I, Kate McCabe, should join the Navy. Not everybody has sea legs, but you do. And I joined the Navy. I was in the Navy for 5 years. My ship crashed off the coast of Cincinnati, and I wound up under the ocean floor, and similar to another Tom Hanks movie called Splash. In the ocean, I met my future wife, who is a mermaid called Orshella, and we have many beautiful catfish together. And we now owe our fortune and our path in life to this Zoltar machine. So thank you for reminding me of its significance, Tracy.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Excellent, excellent. So are all Tom Hanks movies based on your life?
In fact, they are. I signed my life rights to him about 10 years ago. And so everything from 10 years, the Mr. Rogers story, that's I like cardigans, is that's where that came from.
That is the plot of Mr. Rogers what's the film? Welcome to the Neighborhood?
Yeah,
No,
just cardigan appreciation, really.
Yes. Cardigan appreciation. Right, next up to tell his story, it is Talal, which means, Kate, you're going to pull out an item from your box to reunite with Talal, and he's going to tell us the story of why the object means so much to him.
Okay, great. Talal, I think you're going to be so happy or sad, I don't know, or angry to see this guy again in your life. I won't even tell you what it is because you know exactly what it is.
Okay, Talal, please tell us the story.
Oh my Gosh. Well, as you all know, when I was a child, I got lost at sea, and another nautical themed story, and I drowned. Well, that's what my family thought, and they mourned me for years, and I was they thought me lost to the oceans, but actually I was saved by some merfolk. And merfolk don't look like you think, like in the Disney films. Actually, they're quite hideous beasts. They look like half fish, half people, with grotesque fins sticking out of odd places. And one of these merfolk, his name was Bruce, dragged me back to his kelp tent and nursed me back to health and put little oxygen-laced kelp on my face to keep me breathing. And he taught me and raised me as his own. And when I was ready, he freed me back onto the land. And the last thing I saw of him was him dipping into the ocean with his tank top, glinting in the sun. And we waved, and I thought that would be the last time I ever saw him. But Kate, you've somehow found a model replica of Bruce, the merman. And
I love you,
so
man.
grateful. Oh, I love you too, Brucey. I miss you, buddy. I miss your scaly skin and your fishy scent. One day I'll come back to you, Bruce. One day I'll come back.
Oh, wonderful, moving stuff there, Talal. Next up, Tracy is going to tell her life story using an object from her childhood. Talal, what is that object?
In my box, I have for you, actually, a 12-sided die.
Whoa!
Wonderful.
I
Wonderful.
can't believe that you said it earlier, but
Oh, I
you ruined
did-
the surprise. But here you go, my love.
You were thinking about the wrong box, Tracy. Tracy, for some reason, I don't think this next story is going to be a lie. I generally think it's going to be a story from your childhood. Please explain the relevance of this 12-sided die.
I can tell you a real story from my childhood. So I did used to play Dungeons and Dragons, and I still will if I could get a game. But it's kind of a bit hard, when you're middle aged and all your merfolk friends are busy and they've got little fish kids and whatever. So when I did, obviously 12-sided die is exciting because it's more sides, and who doesn't want more sides? And I'm a fair person. I'm not someone who takes sides, but if I did have to 12-sided dice, that's a very nice one as well, because when I was a kid, I wanted the best of the best, right? And it's the thing about Dungeons and Dragons is it's very low barrier to entry, right? Anybody can play it. All you need is an imagination, a 12-sided dice, and some friends. But I didn't have any friends, so I used to play by myself, right? Which is fine. Which is fine. No, it's fine. So you be the dungeon master, right? And you say, you're entering a tunnel. There's a treasure chest. Do you want to open it? And you open it, and something horrible springs out, and you got to shake a dice to see what happens, right? So I do this for myself and for all of my friends. And then the one day I realized, you know what, the dice is my friend, right? I've all, the real treasure is the friends we make along the way. And in my case, it was the dice. So I decided, there's a lesson here. I'm going to be in real life as adventurous as these characters and these quests that I'm creating for myself. So I set out to become, the world's greatest monster slayer, treasure hunter, and wizard. And I have achieved all of those goals.
Beautiful.
By my mid-40s. Unfortunately, though, I lost the dice, ironically, in a game of chance. To a one-eyed goblin, and I see that it's now come to you. So I'll have that back if you can pass it through the screen. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Oh, those are lovely stories. I've written notes. Kate, I love your story about the Navy, meeting your mermaid wife, Orshella. Talal, I've got, I actually originally wrote Mohawk because I just thought it was the Hulk with a mohawk. And I thought I might use that line later. So this is me delivering that joke. We've got your fishy scent, oxygen-laced kelp. Tracy, all the notes that I made during your story was just a sad face.
Yeah.
So
All my stories are sad. The last time I did this, it was a sad story as well.
no, because it was so emotional, Tracy, you're getting the full 3 points there. Kate, close second with 2, and Talal just the 1. Yeah, that's just how it goes. That's the end of round 2. It's time for round 3.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Round 3 is called Conspiracy Theory. Well, I'm going to ask my guests to come up with a brand new conspiracy theory on the spot based on objects that the other guests have. And the most believable one is going to win 5 full points. So, starting at this round, it's going to be Talal and Tracy. An item from your box will be the star of Talal's conspiracy theory.
Here we go.
It's a Mrs. Blobby pencil topper. Mrs. Blobby with a pencil apparatus. It's a full pencil with a rubber band. Like I say, culturally quite specific.
Have they just done the gender thing and it's just the normal Mr. Blobby but with a bow?
Yes, bow and lipstick.
The Disney.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And
She's got eyelashes.
She's got the full pencil hole.
Anatomically. Oh, what's the word? Anatomically correct.
Assuming we know anything about the anatomy of the blobbies.
Of the blobbies.
I missed that David Attenborough documentary. Talal, please engage us in your conspiracy theory, the type that a racist aunt might put on Facebook, about Mrs. Blobby.
Okay. Did you know? Hey, come here. Let me tell you something. Did you know, that actually, do you remember Jeremy Beadle? Jeremy Beadle, yeah. He was close friends with the Blobbies, but he actually had a torrid affair with Mrs. Blobby, and her and Mr. Blobby had a massive falling out because of it, and it was a very bitter relationship, and that's why you very seldom see Mrs. Blobby. You very seldom see Mrs. Blobby on any TV appearances because Mr. Blobby refused to share a screen with her after that. And she kind of got blacklisted by Hollywood. And that's why there are no Mrs. Blobby movies or video games or albums.
I like that you say blacklisted by Hollywood as if Mr. Blobby was huge in Hollywood. But no, I like that. I like that. Oh, yeah.
Here's the thing. Their kids are actually half Beadle. So Jeremy Beadle would secretly, surreptitiously give child benefits, childcare benefits to the Blobbies to help raise the kids. And it was a terrible secret. And it only really came out after Mr. Beadle died. But got squashed very quickly. Shh, don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone.
So it's okay. There's hardly anyone watching this show. So the reason why we don't see Mrs. Blobby is because of a torrid affair she had with Jeremy Beadle, and she got blacklisted. That is a very believable rumor. Next up, Kate McCabe. An item from Talal's box is going to spark your conspiracy theory. Talal, what is that item?
Your item is an original Game Boy Super Mario Land.
Oh no, done. Holy shit. I can't believe you got this original Super Mario Land video game. Because here's the thing. You know how right now we've got like all the brain chips that are gone in our heads and that like all the government, like it controls us via the things that we say and do, and it knows exactly what your underpants are and whether they're clean and if you're on a bus or whether you're driving your tractor. Okay, so a lot of people think it's coming through the 5G, but what they don't understand is they originally started putting it in us when we were on buses as children and we had the Game Boys. So you have like Game Boys and travel consoles, and people think, oh, that's freedom. You are free to travel with your Game Boy and or other travel size console. But the issue is it was freedom for them you had to sign boxes that said, I will travel with this. And then you travel with it. And every time that Mario would jump up and hit one of those question square boxes, that literally was tracking information about what the thing, like your brain patterns were going on in your head. Like if it was producing joy, because within the Nintendo Game Boy, it was like in real tiny small lettering after Game Boy. It said, "Boy, you are being gamed by the U.S. government." And that is exactly why you should get that out of your house, Talal. I got rid of mine. You need to take it down, not to the charity shop, but to the tip. They have a special thing in the tip. If you go to the tip and you say, I got stuff to give to Roy, that is the code word, because they know that you know, and they're like, I will burn this and set you free, son. So just make sure you ask for Roy at the tip.
Wow.
Thanks for
Tracking
the advice,
devices.
sister.
Okay, no, I like that. I like that a lot. Finally, Tracy is going to reveal a conspiracy theory about an item from Kate's box. Kate,
Right.
what is that item?
All right, Tracy. I think you know exactly what this is. As you can see, it works like this. You put it in a potato and then fire away. So tell me about spud guns.
Spud gun. I had no idea what that was, and the confidence that you had, Kate, that we would all recognize that, speaks volumes. Tracy, what's your conspiracy theory about a spud gun?
The British government back in the 1960s funded a weapons program, right, in which they wanted to recruit the next generation of sharpshooters. The reason that Britain is still such a great nation is because of our military might and our foresight in terms of, weaponry, right? So the Prime Minister at the time, he was like, we need to recruit super soldiers, right? But the problem with super soldiers is it's a bit obvious because they're all like, hi, I'm a super soldier. And, they're all swole with testosterone and they're all jacked up on the gym juice and all of this stuff, right? And it's just really obvious. And that's just not the British way, because what we've always done is like, snuck in the back way, take your stuff and then, put it in our museums and all of that stuff, right? And then we won't give it back. And we do that really subtly. We're not, we're just very good at spying. And that's why we've got this whole James Bond thing going on. So the government were like, if we recruit the least obvious group of people to train to be our super soldiers, right? Then, by the 80s, we'll have this amazing army of these incredibly cool super soldiers, but they'll just look like normal people. So they recruited children from the streets. They recruited children who were obviously used to street weaponry, right? So that's your basic catapult, which is your long-range offensive weapon, right? That's your future sniper, okay? Then you've got your spud gun. Now, a spud gun, right, that's essentially, that could be a Luger or, some other sort of closer range weapon, but it's ultimately an assassination piece. By the 80s, there was this whole team of kids who were fully trained to murder absolutely anybody in any kind of combat situation, using only their childhood toys. The program was obviously, it was a massive failure. Yes. Because it's a really stupid idea, but like all British, military policy, you've got to try these things. So you've got, now obviously all those guys, they're in the late 50s, and they're all a bit fat now. But if you see an adult man with a spud gun, run.
Okay, right. I've got points to dish out. Now, the most believable one there. It is Kate's tracking the chips in a Game Boy Advance, but the one I want to believe the most, it's definitely Beadle Blobby Baby. So that is 5 points straight there for Talal.
Just for the alliteration.
Yeah.
Beadle's about to get exposed.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah, it's a reference. And Tracy and Kate, I'm giving you 3 points each there. Kate, you would have got more, but your character absolutely fucking terrified me. It's time for round 4.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Round 4 is called Best Tool for the Job. I want my guests to pull out an item from their box, and they are going to convince me why their tool is best for the job, which is a problem that I'm going to announce in a moment. To make it more difficult, they've got to get their items first. So, Tracy, what is the item you have prepared?
Well, I slightly regret this now, but my third item is a book about the philosophy of football.
Excellent. Nice little plug there. Kate McCabe, what's your item?
I have a small, festive Easter clothespin.
Easter clothespin, sure. And Talal, what's your object?
It's a cactus.
A cactus. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Right then, the problem is going to be something that we discussed earlier in the show. Oh my God, you wouldn't believe this, but yesterday, I was a 13-year-old boy, and I made a wish, right, to be big, and it made me 33. But the thing is, I can't convince people that I'm actually a 13-year-old boy. Using your objects, how would it help me convince other people that I was genuinely in a big situation? We are going to start with Tracy King for this. Tracy, how would your book on football explain it?
The most obvious thing there is, of course, if you are a boy in Britain or a girl in America, then all teenagers speak the language of football. Or soccer, so you could just say, what about that football, eh? And people would immediately know that if you're not a teenage boy, then you might be a slightly immature adult man.
Okay, so just talk about football and people would assume I'm 13. Kate McCabe, your Easter clothes peg, how would that help me convince people?
Okay, so at first I'd be like, why would an adult have an Easter clothes peg? This is clearly for a child. This is like they've painted an egg so that it's colorful and fun. That's for a child. But secondly, I can still you still don't believe me. And so to prove that I am not in a fugue or dream state, I am going to pinch myself with this clothespin. Ow, that's quite sore, actually. And that proves that I am awake. And just to make sure that you are also awake, I would put this on you and pinch you to make sure that you're awake and you are also not in a fugue state. And then I'd round it off by being like, I'm rubber, you're glue.
Yes.
Whatever I say bounces off you. I don't know how it goes anymore. I'm too old.
You just said you're old. You're clearly not a kid. Ruined. Talal Karkouti, how would you use your cactus to help me out in my situation?
Mine's not going to be as kinky as Kate's. But we all know cacti are famously what you use to make tequila. So what I would do is I would make this cactus into some tequila. I would ferment it, and I would gather some witnesses and drink the tequila. And as we all know, if you're an adult, get drunk on tequila, you behave like a teenage child. But if you're a teenage child, get drunk on tequila, you revert back to your fetus form. You start vomiting and get on the ground and just try to stop the world from spinning. So I would just show them, would a child behave like this drunk? And then get drunk and show them that you're actually a vulnerable little child who shouldn't be drinking.
Okay then, right, points to give there. I personally think Tracy's answer is the best one there. Only kids go on about football, and especially like the excitement that I'd use. I'm not saying that like all kids, all people who love football are kids. I'm just saying like kids have much more enthusiasm of it. Kate, I think if I started clamping people with a peg, that wouldn't convince anyone of anything. And Talal, I disagree. I think people who drink tequila act the same way. They end up childish and talking about football. So the points there, 3 points, are going to Tracy. It's time for round 5.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Round 5 is called 23 seconds. I'm going to ask my guests to name as many things as they can in 23 seconds. They get to choose their specialist subject, though, so it's a lot easier. The person in first place always goes first, which in this case is Tracy King. Tracy, what is your specialist subject?
The characters of Asterix books.
Oh, I literally only know one of the characters, and that's the title character. But let's have a little find out. You've got 23 seconds to name as many characters from the Asterix. Yes. In 23 seconds, starting now.
Asterix, Obelix, Dogmatix, Getafix, Vital Statistics, and Hygienics, Impedimenta, Caesar, Cleopatra, Beefix, Broadix, Homeopathics, Cacophonics, Christmas bonus, Oh my God! How is this so hard? There's hundreds of them. No, I'm going completely blank.
And that
Go.
mobile phone ringing in the background means that's 23 seconds over. That was very good timing. I was starting to pick up on what their one joke was.
Did you not listen to my BBC podcast about the puns of Asterix? I'll tweet it
not.
after the show, guys.
Yeah,
It's
links
me
in the
explaining how
description.
Latin puns are the highest form of.
Lovely. How did Christmas bonus because it ends in US?
So the Romans
Oh,
end in
good.
US as per the language, and the Gauls, Italians, end in IX.
We are learning. We are learning things.
In the masculine form. It's complicated.
All right.
It's
In
sophisticated,
second place at the
funny
moment is Kate McCabe. Kate, what is your specialist subject?
It's another character-based category, but this time we're going to The Simpsons.
Yes, I know who they are. 23 seconds are starting now.
Bart, Marge, Lisa, Homer, Maggie, Abe, Patty, Selma, Jub, Troy McClure, Santa's Little Helper, Snowball 2. We're going to go to the Flanderses. So Ned, Rod, Maud, Todd, Lurleen Lumpkin, Rainier Wolfcastle.
That is time. And Kate, I will say, because usually when you list Simpsons characters, you go through the main. You're the first one who's listed Selma's pet lizard Jub before Ned Flanders. I was extremely impressed with that. Right, that is your score locked in. And Talal, what is your specialist subject?
Mine's boring compared to you guys. Birds of the British Isles.
Birds of the British Isles. Oh, if I catch a French bird in there, I'm docking your points. Here's Talal in 23 seconds, starting now.
Okay, Robin, Sparrow, Wood Pigeon, a Crow, Rook, Coot, Seagull, Peregrine Falcon. Jeez. Magpie, Blue Tit. There are woodpeckers, woodpecker, puffins up in Scotland.
That is time. Lovely stuff. That was a lot of birds. Some of them I didn't know. But yes, those are the scores locked in. And the final scores in third place with an incredible 18 points. Sometimes that would win a game. It is Talal Karkouti. Very well done, Talal. 18 points there. Is there anything that you'd like to plug whilst you're here?
Oh, certainly. Speaking of D&D, I have a comedy Dungeons and Dragons podcast. It's dungeon mastered by the absolutely incredible Vicky Hawley. Also has John Gracie, Dan Simpson, Sasha Ellen in the crew. And it's a really fucking cool adventure. I play a crazy Arab and we are between seasons. And you don't have to listen to all of season 1 to join us on season 2. We'll do a nice big catch up at the beginning and we're about to start season 2. So find us on Twitch. /Vicky's World RPG. We're on all the socials, Vicky's World RPG, and look at any podcast app and just look for Vicky's World, and we're there. It's really good fun. So join the ride and tell your friends.
Beautiful. Links will be in the description below. In second place with 22 points, it's old Spud Gun herself. It's Tracy King.
Woo!
Very well done, Tracy. Is there anything that you'd like to plug?
I don't know, because I'm writing a book, but it's not out till spring 2022, and so that's too early for a plug. So I guess just follow my Twitter, which is the @ symbol, not the word at, tking.t for Tracy, King for King, dot for dot.
Okay, so @ not the word, the symbol, and dot the word, not the symbol. Lovely, nice and confusing there. That was Tracy King, and our winner with 27 points. Oh, she's got a mermaid wife called Urshela. It's Kate McCabe.
Thank you very much. A pleasure to be on the show again. People can find me on Twitter @ Kate McCabe Says, or my Facebook page, Kate McCabe Stuff and Nonsense, where I post funny stuff and cocktail videos, which is great for lockdown.
Wonderful. Yeah. Links in the description below. One more time. My guests today were Tracy King, Kate McCabe, and Talal Karkouti. I've been Frizz Frizzle. Now can everyone please wave to the camera for 23 seconds as the end credits play?
What's in